Hey, welcome back to the Unicorn vlog. It's been a long time since I talked to you, and you'll notice there are actually no Corvettes and there's no warehouse in my garage, and you're about to find out why. We're gonna get you caught up to speed on where the Unicorn's at and where the SPNK BNK's at. My C6 ZR1. Got Fred and Matt with me. We're heading to Lincoln.
Hello. He was like, hey.
You got?
They repainted the wrong color.
Oh, I thought it had like a horn and a unicorn situation.
Hey, look.
It's not a burnt marshmallow anymore.
Yeah, no kidding. Much better. And the headlight covers are all looking good. Cool. That's cool. Is that going to the GTO? Oh my God, are you serious?
How's it going?
Yeah, twin Pro Mod 88s.
It's been a lot of time up in the trailer.
That's the new setup. So we're here to finally update our fans on the Unicorn.
Perfect.
And the SPNK BNK too, but there's been a lot that's changed. Well, here she is. She's well underway. Hey, that's not nice.
You can still smell a little.
I'm sure that'll always be there. So before we get into the upgrades, fixes, all that stuff, just to catch you up if you haven't seen the Unicorn before, this car has a Thompson Motorsports engine, 370 cubic inch with Huron Speed twin turbo kit that's tucked up underneath it. And then we have a RPM rear end and transmission because it's a 6-speed manual, which makes it a lot of fun. It's a little slower because of that, but it's just a solid car. And if you missed it, the last video we did, the car had a fire, and we're fixing all that stuff, making some upgrades so we can get back for a 2018 season. So we're gonna go over the changes with Chad here. It was a long project because we had to figure out a lot of the stuff as we were going, because there aren't a whole lot of stick shift twin turbo Corvettes out there. So it's good to fix a few things here and there. So obviously we had the fire, and we're fixing a lot of things to prevent that from happening. And the other big changes were adding safety stuff that we didn't put in because at the end of the project we just didn't have time. Didn't think we were gonna need it first, but so we look over here. Fast was nice enough to give us a new intake top to replace the one that melted. Redid the fuel system in this area because the fire came from the fuel injector O-ring right here, and we did new fuel rails. These are a one-piece rail that are going to bolt directly onto the intake. The other one that had like some tabs on it that were able to flex, which I think may have been part of the issue. So we replaced the injectors, got injector dynamics injectors, the 4 fuel rails. Fast sent us a new intake top to replace that to prevent the fire from spreading or happening that long. We're putting in as a Safecraft.
Yeah.
So there's our fire suppression, and this came with 2 nozzles for the engine bay, like 1 on each side, and then it has one for the driver compartment. So not the passenger. I'm not just kidding.
And then we're relocating the battery.
Oh yes. So the fire came from there, from leaky fuel injector O-ring, ignited off the headers. But then, because I didn't have a battery cutoff and I was in a hurry to get out of the car, the ignition stayed on, causing the fuel to keep pumping out of the fuel system until I realized to shut it off. So the battery cutoff is going to make it so the track guys know to cut that.
And actually what I ended up getting was, with the battery back there, I found a solid state box for the battery cutoff, so it's electric. So basically there'll be a kill switch back there, and then we'll have one inside too, so you can even kill it from inside.
Nice.
So it works out nice that way. It packaged better that way. I don't have to worry about having a big handle with a switch. It just uses a switch that you can push on, push off. So
sweet.
Yeah, I ordered that yesterday.
So that'll eliminate from the fire continuing to spread. I had a fire extinguisher in the car. You didn't really see it in the video. I used that as much as I could, but it was just spraying fuel out. So if the power is cut, hit the fire suppression, which will be a pull lever in the car. It's gonna put everything out immediately, which will be really nice. Other safety stuff we're doing, we've got the cage, RPM roll bar cage, and that'll be going in here shortly. Another safety thing, we've got Rock Solid Motorsports parachute mount. That's going to go behind the bumper through the license plate, I believe right in the center, and then something like that. That way, there we go. Then we got a Stroud parachute going in. that will be interesting. I'm gonna have to have Joey teach me how to pack a parachute.
It's funny.
I hear you get
Sketchy was in yesterday, and we were just watching a video on how to do it because he was asking. So Stroud's got a nice video that shows.
Yeah, he's putting one on his car too.
Yeah,
he needs it. You're gonna eat. Our friends at Muscular Concepts that did like the custom intake piping, they repainted and buffed the panels that got burnt. Yeah. It's pretty much just a headlight and the hood that got it real bad.
Yeah, there was a hood fender that just needed a little bit, and then the headlight covers.
So that's all fixed up. Yeah, the fire was like secluded mainly here. Like the injector O-ring was popped out, and it was spraying fuel up over the intake and then down through this side. So like everything in this area, the firewall was all charred, and then it was like exiting out the fender where there was air. Like there's supposed to be airflow from the front grille over the motor out the fenders. That's how they engineered it. There's a lot of changes we're doing that like we just didn't have time to do before the big race with Cletus. Victor at VA Specialties down in Texas made the custom lower control arms to fix our alignment issue, but we had to rush those to get in rather than making adjustable. What was it like
a turnbuckle as part of the lower control arm? They were just hinged on the end, so in order to make any adjustments, I had to basically take the whole control arm out every time to adjust.
So this will save you an hour or two in alignment time.
Huge.
That's a big one right there.
So Chad had this badass custom throttle body made, had it laser engraved. This is a Nick Williams throttle body, and we were having issues with getting the throttle body to work under boost, and we should have just called Nick Williams because it turns out he had a motor upgrade that he could have put on here to make it work. So that's beautiful. Another upgrade we're doing is I had the RXT McLeod and we upgraded the next step up because the tricky part with this car is getting it to slip, and probably about 30% of the time I was able to, maybe less. When I did, it continued slipping, so we just didn't have enough clutch in there to handle 1,000 or 1,100 horsepower or whatever as it's going down the track. So we're upgrading that. But I got addicted to the 60 foots in launching this thing, and we have a lot more to improve on that. It's going to be crazy, but we also have to keep up with getting oil through the motor. So we've got a new oil pan that's got some traps in there to make sure the oil pressure stays up there, because we're spinning at a pretty high RPM.
Yeah, 7,200.
And making our friends at Thompson Motorsports a little nervous, so they're like, maybe a little insurance.
Making them sweat a little.
So it's the perfect time to make those upgrades to. Well, I think that wraps up most of the stuff we're doing on the car. Should have it ready in a few weeks here. I'm still not sure. I want to take it TX2K. It's hopefully where I'm going to take it next. I don't know if I'm going to be able to race it because we're just working full time there. I also have to find a trailer for it because we're taking two trailers. One's going to be down at Bounty Hunters where we'll be filming, and then heading over to TX2K. And then we've got another trailer that comes down with merchandise. So I got to find another trailer and a truck. So if I do that, I'll bring it down and have a little fun with it down there. Now I mentioned that I also have my other Corvette here, so my garage is pretty empty, which is nice, but the spank bank is under construction too. Not for the same reasons at all, but I've owned that car for 4 years and it's just had a lot of wear on it. I think in those 4 years I probably made about 4, 5, 6, no, probably close to 1,000 pulls in it. Like every time I take it out, you got to make a few pulls in it. Are we able to get to it?
It's in the trailer, yeah. We can go.
Yeah, I'm going to check in with the spank bank. I haven't seen that car for a while.
The hatch is popped, the back's dirty, it's missing a rear valence. Dude, this thing's a piece of junk. You should probably just give it to me instead.
All right, so the spank bank's a little worn out. I took it to the half mile, and my mile an hour wasn't quite what I was thinking it would be. And it was especially noticeable when we went up Pikes Peak the next day. The back bumper started looking like this. So Chad did a compression test on it, and most of the cylinders weren't great, but one of them was terrible, right?
Yeah, one was bad. And it showed on the plug. It was definitely using some oil. I think you said you were putting in quite a bit.
Yeah, it was about 1.5 quart every less than 1,000 miles, which is quite a bit. It's still within GM specs. I'm just kidding. But we've torn out the LS9, and of course, while we're doing that, we might as well do a few upgrades. So to go through what we're doing, help me if I can't remember, because we're rebuilding two cars right now. But we pulled the LS9 out, so there's no motor in there right now. and John Wischmann, we're gonna go to his shop in a little bit to check out the damage. It wasn't terrible, but I think it's been damaged for a few years because the heat exchanger bricks, they kind of disintegrate when they wear down. So we sent all the blower stuff, including the bricks, out to Greg Kong Performance, and he's like the ZR1 god. I went to ZR1 forum to ask, like, what should I do while I'm rebuilding the motor, just freshening things up, and everyone just said, just ask Greg and do what he says. So that's pretty much what I'm doing. He's ported the snout, the blower snout, the throttle body, the blower, and then he's rebuilding the bricks just for added insurance so we don't end up
with an issue.
Sending metal back through another very expensive motor. But we're gonna do GP tuning 2.5 stage cam, so it's not gonna be a crazy track car sound, but it's gonna have a nice little lope to it, which will be awesome. The clutch was slipping. It's been there for 3 or 4 years, and it wasn't really built to handle a lot of abuse at the power we were at. So I'm looking at options, maybe one of the triple disc, street triple disc setups just for nice insurance. And then we're basically just doing a stock rebuild on the motor, and we'll check that out in a little bit, talk to Wischmann on that. The transmissions at RPM, they're doing the same build, stage 6 RPM transmission build on the TR6060. So it's gonna shift real nice.
What kind of power are you hoping to get out of it when it's all said and done?
I said it early on in the Unicorn vlog. This car was almost perfect factory, but it's a boosted car, so you kind of have to play with it a little bit. So I'm going to continue to add a little more power to it because we got everything apart. I'm guessing 750, and I know a lot of people are going to scream at me because I got everything apart. Why not make it 1,000? Well, I've got a 1,000 horsepower turbo car over here. This is the car that I want to just take out on the street, track, beat on, put it back in the garage, and not have to worry about. And that's the way it's been for the most part for the last 4 years, and that's why I like it. So 750 might end up being a little over that. So it should be plenty of fun. So I think that's pretty much everything we're doing to the Spank Bank. We're gonna head to Wischmann Performance next and check out the damage to the motor, and that'll pretty much wrap it up. What's this got in it?
It's got a big block in it.
Holy crap.
Out of a dang boat. So it's gonna make a whole mess of torque here, made a little bit of horsepower. Really, it's just gonna be a fun street car. That's what it's gonna do here.
You need a beer in your hand.
Fucking Budweiser. I need that in. Give me that. There's a Budweiser in the drink here, so. They always gesture with the cup.
Yes, they do.
It's a big block 44 inner. It's got a marine supercharger. We can put it out a boat there. And, it's gonna make a whole mess of torque. It's gonna be a dang fun street car. That's probably part of everything you've seen, you know. From a dig, this thing can't be touched. It probably does dang a 1-2 on the street in a 60-foot. So it's gonna be a beast.
The blower actually came back from Kong Performance just the other day, so we're unboxing it now.
Even has your name on it.
Hey! Oh yeah. Ooh, that's pretty. Oh shit, you can see all the way down there, huh? Damn. He is a pro at what he does. I guess I shouldn't be giving away too many of his secrets. Just kidding.
You can't see that. Sorry.
Oh my gosh, it's hung up in the...
Trailing wire.
That's where it's going? Woo! Jeez! That's gonna be cool. Alright, stand by the Unicorn. And we're now heading to Wischmann Performance to check on the motor and see the damage. Here we go. Dang! This is nice.
We're here for an LS9.
Hello!
LS9, please.
Ooh! Is this my stuff?
That is actually yours, yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
You've been busy. So what do we got here? We got a whole pile of parts.
Cleaned up stuff.
It looks a lot. I didn't recognize it. It was dirty as hell.
Yeah. Replaced old mag powder in the cylinders from making sure they weren't cracked or anything.
Gotcha.
Yep.
So what did you find when you were going through this?
Well, it had a bunch of trash run through it. It actually sort of seed in the cylinders. Now they're kind of just scratched up everywhere.
Yeah.
So.
Well, it was burning a ton of oil.
Yeah, between the stuff running through it and then the rings, or the moly was flaking out of the rings really bad. You see how it's pieces are missing, basically.
Oh yeah.
That's the molly that face that flaked off of it, basically. It was either molly or a chrome plating they used on them, but yep. We won't have that problem again.
We got the new cam GP tuning.
Yep.
Oh, all the new parts.
Yeah, a bunch of them.
You get stickers, Kyle!
What? Oh, cool. Skag and Dickie hooked it up. They have taken really good care of us. So.
Good.
Thank you very much, guys. Thank you, Mr. Wischmann.
Good meeting you.
Good to meet you too.
Hopefully we'll see you.
Bye. All right. Well, that's it from the Unicorn C5 vlog update and Spank Bank. Next time you see the cars, the Unicorn should be running, and hopefully we take it to TX2K. We'll be at Bounty Hunters in San Antonio before that. TX2K is our biggest event of the year. A lot of craziness.
No sleeping.
Exactly. We'll see you guys next time.